Next Monday, in the city of Kunming in southwestern China, a big international conference is being held. The name Kunming may ring a bell for you because a herd of roaming elephants paid a fleeting visit to it a few months ago, and their antics made headlines worldwide. Happily, those elephants are now back home, and it's another hefty matter now that looms large for Kunming: biological diversity. So what exactly is biodiversity?
It's many varieties of life that inhabit our planet and their complex interactions with one another. Why all this matters to you and me is that the water we drink and the food we eat ultimately rely on biodiversity.
In short, our lives depend on it. The name of the big conference in Kunming is COP15, and I guess we should say thank heavens for abbreviations. For, like biodiversity itself, the full name of COP15 is incredibly complicated. And before I give it to you, I'll take a breath. So here it goes. COP15, CP/MOP10-NP/MOP4. Let me decipher that mouthful for you. In the 1990s, a global treaty was established called the United Nations Convention on Biological Diversity. Later, a couple of legal instruments were added to the convention, and the Cartagena Protocol and the Nagoya Protocol, which leads to the full name of this year's meeting, and again it's a mouthful, the 15th meeting of the Conference of the Parties of the Convention on Biological Diversity, the 10th meeting of the parties to the Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety, and the 4th meeting of the parties of Nagoya Protocol on access to genetic resources and the fair and equitable sharing and benefits arising from their utilization. In short, that means meetings relating to the treaty and the two add-on agreements, and collectively, they are informally called the UN Biodiversity Conference. This event is particularly extraordinary for two reasons. First, it is the biggest UN Biodiversity Summit in a decade, and second, it is very long, over the 5 days from October 11th, and indeed resuming in the first half of next year. Gaining international consensus, let alone concrete results on issues such as climate change and biodiversity, is fiendishly difficult. That is illustrated by this fact. 11 years ago, countries met in Japan and agreed on a biodiversity goal called the Aichi targets, but just 6 out of the 20 targets agreed have been met, even partially. That brings policymakers to Kunming, where they will discuss a new action plan they hope they can agree on. The draft plan is called the Post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework, and the goal is to halt and reverse the loss of biodiversity over the coming decade.
China has been highly active in its campaigns to conserve its parks, oceans, forests, and the wilderness. And this has yielded a greener, healthier, and more harmonious ecosystems for those who dwell in or near them, humans and non-humans alike.
That is one reason why, at this critical juncture for the planet, Kunming was chosen to host COP15.